Sweetheart, if you've made it to 70, you've already lived through more than most can imagine. But there's something quietly stealing your peace, and it's not what you think. It's the clutter you've kept out of habit, out of guilt, or simply because no one told you it was okay to let go. Today we're going to walk through 10 things to release before you turn 75. Not because you have to, but because you deserve to breathe easier. Old letters and mementos that bring more pain than joy. There's a drawer in your home that's heavier than it looks. You probably walk past it every day. Maybe it's in your bedroom, maybe tucked into the hallway, that one drawer you don't open unless you need to find an old charger or a birthday card from 3 years ago, but deep inside you know it holds more than just clutter. It holds memory. That drawer, your drawer, might have a bundle of letters tied with a ribbon you once thought you'd never untie. Maybe they're from someone who loved you deeply, or someone who left without the words you needed to hear. Some letters you've read so many times, the paper feels thin. Others you've avoided, afraid they'd undo the careful stitching you've done on your heart. You tell yourself, it's all I have left of them, and that might be true. But let me ask you something, gently. How do you feel every time your fingers brush those envelopes? Lighter or heavier? You're not alone if it's the second one. Holding on doesn't always mean healing. Sometimes it keeps a wound from closing. You've lived through enough storms, my dear. You don't need to keep standing in the rain just because the umbrella is familiar. What if, just once, you sat with those memories not to relive them but to release them, not as an act of forgetting, but as a way to say, thank you, I'm ready to make space for joy now. You deserve a drawer that feels like peace, not grief. Clothes that no longer fit your life or body. You open the closet and see a version of yourself that no longer feels true. You stand there, hand resting on a hanger, staring at clothes that once fit another version of you. Maybe they belonged to the woman who ran the PTA, or the one who hosted dinner parties with pressed linens and high heels that pinched. Maybe they were for work days, church days, weddings, or weight you planned to lose someday. But sweetheart, someday already came. And you've grown. Not just older but wiser, softer in the right places, stronger in others. Still you hesitate. Maybe I'll wear this again. Maybe it'll fit next year. Maybe I shouldn't waste it. But here's what no one tells you. Keeping clothes that no longer fit your life doesn't preserve your past. It presses pause on your present. Every time you flip through those hangers, you hear the echo of who you were supposed to be, instead of celebrating who you are right now. And you, my dear, are worthy of comfort, of softness, of wearing something that makes you feel like you when you catch your reflection. You don't have to throw it all away. That's not the point. Maybe there's a dress with a story too sweet to part with just yet. That's okay. But the rest, the skirts that squeeze your waist or the jackets that scratch your neck, maybe they've simply finished their job. Let them go with grace. Pass them on with love. And when you open that closet tomorrow, imagine seeing only what brings ease to your mornings, what wraps around you like a hug, not a memory of who you were trying to be. You deserve that kind of start to your day, every single day. Excess kitchen tools and unused gadgets, you deserve that kind of start to your day, every single day. And yet, even after your closet breathes a little easier, there's another space that might still trip you up, not physically but mentally. You walk in with purpose, but before you know it, you're standing there asking yourself, what did I come in here for? You laugh it off, but somewhere beneath the chuckle is a quiet frustration. You're not losing your mind, my dear. You're navigating too much. And sometimes, the path to peace means clearing away the noise that hides in plain sight. You never meant to collect 3 can openers, but here you are, each one tossed in a drawer that sticks every time you open it. A garlic press you haven't used since last Thanksgiving. A hand mixer with a frayed cord, and that juicer, well, it was on sale. You thought maybe you'd start drinking something green. You see, it didn't happen overnight. It crept in over years. A new tool for every new recipe, every family gathering, every just in case. You told yourself it was about being prepared, but now it feels more like being surrounded. Sometimes when you're cooking, It feels like your kitchen is closing in. You pull out a drawer and everything clangs and tumbles. Like the whole place is asking, what do you actually need? And deep down, you already know the answer. You don't need 5 spatulas. You don't need 3 bread pans when you only ever bake banana bread in one. What you do need is room to breathe while you move through your day. Let's be honest, if it hasn't been used in months, it's not serving you anymore. It's just noise. And clearing it, it's not just about tidying up. It's about saying, I value ease now. I choose calm over clutter. You'll notice it the next time you reach for a spoon, and it's right where it should be. Or when you open that drawer, and nothing spills out to make you sigh. Your kitchen becomes a place that welcomes you again, not overwhelms you. Unread books, or magazines you've been meaning to get to. You sit in your favorite chair, reach for something to read, and your hand hovers. There's a tower of magazines, glossy, curling at the corners. A few novels with creased covers, one still wrapped in plastic from a book club you stopped attending years ago. You kept them because they felt like possibility, inspiration, a way to stay sharp, stay informed, keep growing. But somewhere along the way, that hopeful stack became something else entirely, a silent to-do list. Every time you glance at it, you feel a tiny pang of guilt, like the books are whispering, you still haven't gotten to us. And guilt? That has no business taking up space, where comfort should live. You're not lazy, you're not behind, you're human. You've had more important things to tend to, your health, your family, your heart. And if those books have sat unread for years, chances are they were never truly meant for you. Not anymore. Imagine keeping just 3, your favorites, the ones that spark joy the moment you pick them up, the ones you read slowly, without pressure. Let go of the rest. Give someone else the chance to discover them fresh. You're not failing by releasing them. You're choosing freedom. And that corner by your chair, it becomes light again. A place for your tea, your thoughts, maybe even your own stories, not a pile of unfinished some days. Old paperwork and files from a former career, that corner by your chair? It feels different now, doesn't it? A little lighter, a little more yours. But as you start noticing how much space you've been holding for some day, another thought might quietly rise up. What about all the things tied to who you used to be? They're not clutter in the usual sense. They meant something, they still do. But holding on to everything you once were can leave very little room for who you're becoming now. I once kept my work briefcase years after I retired. Why? You might be smiling right now, because you understand. Yours might still be tucked in a closet, or collecting dust in a file cabinet. Inside, performance reviews, printed memos, business cards, meeting notes, maybe even a speech you gave that once made you proud. They're pieces of your story, and for a while they helped define you. You were someone people counted on. Maybe you built something, solved things, led others. Those papers are echoes of that role, proof that your time meant something. But here's what's changed. You already know you mattered. You don't need paper to remind you. Your legacy isn't in the documents. It's in the way your advice still lives in the lives you touched. Keeping every page, every folder, it can start to feel like a museum exhibit, one you're curating instead of living. And every time you open that cabinet or pull out that briefcase, you're reminded of work you're no longer meant to do. What if you chose just one box? A memory box with the best of it. The letter that made you tear up. The certificate you earned after late nights and early mornings. Maybe even a photo from your retirement party. Let those few things stand as your tribute. Then let the rest go, knowing that nothing important about you is on paper anymore. You're more than your job. You always were. Hobby gear you no longer use now. Let's walk into another corner of your home. The garage, the guest room closet, or maybe the old wooden chest at the end of your bed. You open it, and there it is. A fishing rod you haven't used in 10 years. A sewing machine whose needle you threaded in another season of your life. Hiking boots, golf clubs, watercolor supplies. You loved them once. Truly, they were part of how you expressed yourself. maybe even how you coped during the harder years. But somewhere along the way, your hands stopped reaching for them. Your mind drifted toward different rhythms. Still, you kept them, not out of laziness, but out of love, as if letting go would mean saying that part of me is over. But here's what you might not have considered. It's not a farewell, it's a handoff. That fishing rod could become someone else's first morning on the lake. That sewing machine might mend the clothes of a young mother on a budget. That camera or art set could awaken creativity in a grandchild still discovering their gifts. You're not erasing anything, you're making room, and not just on the shelf, but in your days, in your energy, in your heart. Sometimes clearing space isn't about what you're losing, it's about what you're finally ready to invite in. Duplicates and just-in-case items. Sometimes clearing space isn't about what you're losing, it's about what you're finally ready to invite in. And yet there are corners that feel harder to face. Not because they hold deep memories or life-shaping roles, but because they whisper in smaller, subtler ways. You know the ones. Drawers that stick, cabinets that spill, shelves you haven't touched in years. There's no drama in them, just a quiet kind of weight. Let's go there together. One step at a time. There's a drawer in your home, maybe in the kitchen, maybe in the hallway, that's filled with things you haven't used in years. But keep just in case. You know the one. Old phone chargers with cables for phones you no longer own. Remote controls whose devices are long gone. Batteries that may or may not still work. An extra garlic press. A backup pair of scissors. 3 flashlights, only one with working batteries. It didn't start this way. Each thing made sense once. You were being smart, prepared. A little extra just in case. Can feel comforting in a world that changes fast. But over time, those drawers turn into static. Visual noise. Every time you open them, they pull a tiny bit of your energy, not because of what's inside, but because of what they represent. Decisions you haven't made yet. And my dear, you've already proven you can adapt. You've weathered storms with nothing but grit and grace. You don't need 5 backups to feel safe. You already are. What would it feel like to choose one of each? Your favorite, your most reliable. And let the rest go. Imagine the drawer sliding open easily. Nothing tangled, nothing clunky. Just what you need, right where it belongs. Clearing those duplicates won't change the world overnight, but it will quiet the background hum in your mind. And that silence. That space for peace. Decor that no longer brings joy. There's a corner in your home that still echoes with silence. Maybe it's the hallway with a painting that's hung there so long you've stopped noticing it. But when you do, your chest tightens just a bit. It reminds you of someone who's no longer here. Or maybe it brings back a season of your life you'd rather not revisit. You kept it out of habit, or maybe because it was expensive, or because someone gave it to you with good intentions. But you've changed, and your home should reflect who you are now, not just where you've been. The things on your walls speak, even if you're not listening closely. And when they speak of heaviness, of grief, of what used to be, they anchor you in places you've worked so hard to move beyond. There's no shame in replacing a piece of decor, none at all. In fact, it can be a gentle act of self-honor. What if that painting came down? What if in its place you hung a photo that makes you smile without effort, or a print of a place you've always wanted to visit? Something soft, something vibrant, something that makes your breath slow when you see it. You're not erasing the past. You're giving the present a chance to bloom. Let your space become a mirror of your joy, a quiet cheerleader on the walls that says, "You're doing beautifully, keep going." Outdated personal care items or expired products. Let your space become a mirror of your joy, a quiet cheerleader on the walls that says, "You're doing beautifully, keep going." And maybe now, as you look around, you're beginning to feel it, that gentle shift, not just in your home, but inside you. This isn't about tidying up anymore. This is about coming home to yourself. You've cleared the dust, quieted the noise, and softened the sharp edges of old memories. What comes next? Honoring the woman who stands here today, not who you were, Not who you hope to be, just you right now. You open the bathroom drawer, or reach into the linen closet, and there it is, a zippered pouch with faded labels, a bottle of hand lotion from a brand you don't even see in stores anymore, a lipstick you haven't worn since your niece's wedding, a jar of face cream that's turned a color it shouldn't be. Some of these things have been with you for years, bought with good intentions, a gift set from a holiday, a sale item you thought you'd try, a scent you once loved, now a little too sharp. You kept them just in case, but they've been sitting there untouched, quietly taking up space, and not just physical space, mental space, emotional space. You deserve better than that, my dear. Your body today is not who she was 10 years ago, and she shouldn't be treated like an afterthought. When you reach for something to care for your skin, your hands, your hair, it should be something that soothes, something that serves you now, not a product clinging to the past, or a bottle filled with regret. This isn't wasteful, it's respectful. When you toss those expired lotions, those half-used perfumes you no longer love, you're not being careless, you're being kind. You're saying, I'm worth something fresh, something nurturing, something now. Let the drawer breathe. Keep only what makes you feel whole in this season of your life. And each time you reach for it, let it be a quiet reminder, you are worth new things. Gifts you kept out of guilt. There's a shelf in your home that doesn't quite feel like you. A little figurine you never chose. A throw blanket that clashes with everything but stays folded neatly at the foot of the bed. A ceramic vase that's always been just there. Even though it's never held flowers, you kept them because someone gave them to you, with love, with effort, or maybe just out of politeness. And you felt that familiar tug. I should keep this. But here's the truth, gently spoken, you don't owe space to guilt. Love isn't measured by how long you hold on to a thing, it's how you live, how you speak, how you care. That figurine, that dish set, they may have come with kindness, but keeping them out of obligation doesn't honor anyone, not the giver, and certainly not you. You're allowed to let go, not out of coldness, but with gratitude. Thank you, you whisper as you wrap it up. But I no longer need this to prove anything. Replace those items with things that speak your language now. A seashell from a walk you took alone. A candle in your favorite scent. A photo that makes you smile, just looking at it. Because your home is sacred ground, now not a museum of what you should display. A reflection of who you are, what brings you joy, and where your peace begins. My dear, the weight you've been carrying wasn't just in your arms, it was in your heart. And every drawer you opened, every item you released, wasn't just a task, it was an act of love. Letting go isn't losing anything. It's making room for peace, purpose, and the version of you that's been quietly waiting for space to breathe. Take it one gentle step at a time. There's no rush, no perfect way. Only forward, only lighter. You've earned every breath of ease that's coming your way. And your home? It's finally becoming what it was always meant to be, a reflection of you.